Any paper beat the house? Yeah. Do you have your papers? Or my favorite, he's going to give me a card. Get away from me. I'm not one of those people. But the point is, my favorite is, we're up towards Canada, a Canadian police officer walking up in a grocery store on a security camera going, I want to see your papers. Show me your papers now. I want to see your papers. Right out of a bad B World War II movie. But don't think it's going to just be in Canada, because you're already seeing it here. One of the things that's being pointed out is this expression of authority and perceived authority as opposed to the actual authority of we the people. Now, before you can get a police state in place, before you can do all this skull thumping that's coming, what you have to do is convince the people in a number of different ways that they don't have any authority. In other words, well, first of all, remember this: the Borg, it's futile resist, you will be absorbed, blase splee, right? Except, if you did watch the original Star Trek Next Generation series, the first time that the Enterprise met the Borg, they kicked them a new hind end. The only problem is they stopped shooting, right? Does anybody remember that? See, I'm going to kind of remind, I'm a Trekkie hard, I'm sorry. It's just now, with this being the case, it points out that where force is within your realm, because you are authorized to prevent, if need physically, from an abuse to take place. And people are going, oh, well, wait a minute. Yes, we have the authority to use coercive force. We have the authority to defend our liberty, our constitutional rights, our Declaration of Independence, our property. Because the first rule is this: all that we sit in, now I'll bet the whole purpose behind what's happened in the last several, or actually many years, long before I was born, the property of this nation is ours. And the first part of that property that we have to understand is us, the corpus, the person, the man, exactly as he was trying to bring this about to you. The woman, the man, the corpus. We, like no other people in the world, have documents and instruments that we perfected that scrape the table clean. We literally no longer had chains upon our wrists. Now, what happened? Well, perhaps you don't have chains, but for this crumb, wouldn't you trade a little bit of your liberty? For a little perceived benefit, wouldn't you be willing to surrender a birthright that goes back thousands of years? In the Old Testament is, wouldn't you be willing to trade your birthright for a bowl of beans? Nothing but so pitiful as a bowl of beans because you just happen to be hungry for the moment, because temporary instant gratitude or gratification is more important than looking at the long-term perceived issues that you're tied into, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You see, the difference between being comfortable and being kept, and being maybe not as comfortable but being free, are two totally different worlds. Now, here's the problem. We'll talk about contract. You all get to choose. If you go into a certain contract and you acquiesce a specific amount of power, progressively what will happen is somebody will perceive that if you are stupid enough to give it away, they are smart enough to step into the vacuum. In 1765, before the American Revolution by 10 years, the Sons of Liberty had already been facing off and preparing for a revolution in the United States, facing off against the Crown of England. Remember what I said at the beginning, the use of words. The Crown of England were the commerce corporations coming into the United States to lay claim to the people as property. Socialism dictates that the people are the property of the state. Now, our concept of government, our concept, is that I own no man, and this person can't own me either. That each of us, through a mutual consent, a process of mutual contracts, have come up with a peaceable solution. It was expressed in the Declaration of Independence, based upon a series of other documents that were the foundational elements, as Don would say, my co-host, standing on the shoulders of, working, stepping up progressively as we learned and as we educated ourselves. We learned and understood that there was a better way, there was a better system, and we incorporated it. Now, There's something that the Founding Fathers understood that all of us must understand, and it's the scales. It's the balance. And I always bring this up now because it is most important. We're at the edge of what is a terrible disaster for America. If we are to surrender, or if we are foolish enough to surrender the birthright that we have earned, we've given, actually we didn't earn it initially, you're lucky. God willing, we ended up in the right place at the right time. As a gift, you were able to express the concept of liberty to its fullest. Where are you, if you're willing to embrace it? Well, that liberty gift, gift from God, which is the first thing most people are always ashamed or taught to be ashamed to express, because if you do that, it's not an accident. You then acknowledge that there is a higher force than the state. And the state can't have that, because the state wants to be God. And the state, if it's done right by the police state, it becomes a whole small clique of people who feel that they have the right to lord over you and take something from you that nobody has a right to, and that's your time. Now, I want everybody to reach into your right pocket. I did this yesterday. Let me reach in that pocket there. And I want you all to pull out and give me a candy. No. I want you all to reach out and I want you to put your hands forward and give me 5 seconds. Who's going to give me the 5 seconds? Who can give me? Well, that's my whole point. Who can give me 5 seconds of the time that they experience? Nobody. Now that means that we go to the Bible and it explains every man has but so much time on this planet. That means that time, expressed in my little candy here maybe, is the most precious commodity on the whole of the planet. If you want to understand what a tyrant wants, if you wish to understand what a police state entails, it is the taking of the most priceless treasure that each human being has on this planet, and it's time. Time is expressed in many ways, but if we understand what we call our liberty interest, our liberty interest entails and wraps, like that piece of plastic on that candy, it wraps around and helps to protect that gift that we have from God. That liberty interest, though, entails several words expressed, and again, they have to be expressed, that most people don't like. One of them is responsibility. Liberty entails responsibility. Responsibility, understanding that, first of all, and again, understanding is critical, the balance of the scale, which I'm going to touch on here in a second. The responsibility to protect that gift from God. Now, I don't have a right to take anything from this man at all, or this man, or that woman, or any of you in this room. I can negotiate